This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology. Today we're looking at a topic that sits right at the intersection of high tech and, high emotion. We're exploring a trend that The Senior Techie is calling legacy preservation.
It's a fascinating shift, really. Usually when we talk about AI voice cloning the conversation, it just jumps straight to scams or spy movies.
Right.
But the Senior Techie is highlighting something much warmer here, using this technology to leave a biological part of yourself behind for your family.
Yeah, and we should be clear, this is different from the usual digital legacy stuff like photo albums or a written memoir. Why does the Senior Techie argue that voice is so different?
Well, think about it like this. It's the difference between reading a sheet of music and actually hearing the song played.
Okay.
A written memoir, it gives your grandkids the facts, right? The dates, the names, but it completely misses the melody of you. It misses the cadence, the timbre, the specific way you might, laugh at your own jokes.
That makes perfect sense. Reading I love you is just fundamentally different from hearing it. But practically, what are people actually recording? Is it just random sentences?
No, it's much more curated. The Senior Techie shares a story from a hospice nurse that really, it really illustrates the power of this. She worked with a grandfather who was an obsessive fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just read a script. He used the tech to record all his specific fishing stories. The big catches, the ones that got away, all of it.
So it's about capturing the personality, not just the data.
Exactly. And now at family gatherings, they don't just tell stories about him, they play him telling the story. It keeps his spirit in the room.
Wow.
And the Senior Techie points out this goes even further. Seniors are recording what they call milestone messages for great-grandchildren who aren't even born yet.
That is heavy. Imagine a child born in, say, 2050, getting a birthday greeting from a great-grandfather they never met in his actual voice.
It connects to a very primal fear. The Senior Techie actually cites a survey finding that 66% of people say their biggest fear about a loved one passing is forgetting the sound of their voice.
Right. Photos preserve the face.
This technology preserves the presence.
Okay, but this brings up a massive practical hurdle. If my voice is an asset, like a house or a car, who owns it when I die? I imagine our listeners want to know how to control this.
This is where it gets really interesting for anyone looking to, get their ducks in a row. Forward-thinking estate planners are now actually including AI voice models in wills.
In a will, that feels wildly futuristic.
It sounds it, but it's necessary protection. You have to specify how that voice is used. Because the Senior Techie notes we're moving toward these interactive memorials where family can ask questions and the AI answers in your voice. You don't want to leave the rules for that up to chance.
That sounds comforting, but, I have to play devil's advocate. If my voice is out there, how do I make sure it's safe? We hear about data breaches 24/7.
A very valid concern. And the Senior Techie emphasizes that reputable platforms, they operate on explicit consent. You must opt in. A relative can't just scrape your voice from old home movies without legal clearance.
Okay, that's good.
Plus, the reliable services use encryption and GDPR compliance. They treat your voice print like biometric data.
There's also the psychological aspect, though. If I can talk to a deceased parent whenever I want, does that help me grieve or does it keep me stuck?
Yeah, and mental health professionals are flagging that exact issue. You don't want to create dependency. But the Senior Techie highlights a very clever feature some services offer called fade out.
Fade out. How does that work?
It's designed to mimic the natural softening of grief. The interaction might be very frequent at first, but over months or years, the system it naturally reduces the engagement. It supports the grieving process rather than overriding it.
That's surprisingly thoughtful. It's using tech to enforce a human process.
It really is. It highlights the core mission here. It's about maintaining a sensory connection with the future, but without preventing that future from happening.
It certainly gives you something to think about regarding what you leave behind. This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com.